Football is perhaps the most globally accepted sport and has a reputation for bringing people together. Over the years, it has been used to promote peace, respect, and the stand against racism. So it is easy to believe football is all shades of respect. But if this is what you have always believed, you are wrong. Not everyone is keen on respecting their opponents on and off the pitch. Some players do not mind stooping so low merely because they want to disrespect their opponents. As ugly as this might seem, there are quite a number of cases of players disrespecting others on the pitch. We will see a couple of them in a moment, but before we go on, kindly like and share this video. Also do well to hit the bell button so you don't miss our other videos. These are the 25 most crazy, disrespectful moments in football. Luis Moreno hits an owl. Humans are not the only ones that can be disrespected. Animals too can be, and I guess Moreno did not think it was possible to disrespect animals when he kicked an owl in a game between his club and Junior Barranquilla. This act was disrespectful and inhumane, and the owl died in the end. I want your sister. The world remembers Zidane for headbutting Materazzi. However, the fact is, Materazzi was disrespectful when he told the former French international he preferred his sister to his shirt. Suarez becomes a goalie. Materazzi might have disrespected a single player. However, Suarez disrespected football in its entirety when he decided to handle the ball with his hand in a World Cup match between Ghana and Uruguay. His team ended up winning the match, but this action will always be a stain on his career, at least in the eyes of Africans. Maradona's hand of God. Speaking of players handling the ball with their hands, Diego Maradona might be one of the best to ever play the game of football and will be remembered for easily dribbling past opponents. Well, he did more than beat opponents easily, he broke the hearts of football fans around the world when he scored a goal with his hand. This goal should have been overlooked, but strangely, it was counted. Maradona was not the only player to score with his hand. One of football's sweethearts also did the same. More on this later, but before we go on, subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this. Moving on. Lionel Messi's hand of God. For several years, Messi was regarded as a miniature Maradona. He beat players very easily like Maradona did, and this was beautiful to watch. But the football maestro disrespected football when he scored with his hand. We don't know if this was premeditated or simply happened in the moment, but we know it was disrespect at its peak. Messi was quite an upcoming player when he handled the ball with his hand, but the next player was already a legend when he decided to break the rules of the game. Can you guess who he was? Henry controlled the ball with his hand. France almost missed the 2010 World Cup by whiskers. Well, somehow, they were able to qualify, thanks to Henry, who controlled the ball in the 18-yard box before passing the ball to William Gallas. This happened in a game between France and Ireland. Suarez biting Ivanovic. Moving on from players handling the ball with their hands to something quite inhumane. Suarez once bit Ivanovic's arm in a game between Liverpool and Chelsea. As much as this did not make the former Chelsea right-back ineffective in the game, it simply gave the world an idea of how disrespectful the former Liverpool forward was. Ivanovic was not the only player Suarez bit. The other player is considered a legend of the game. Suarez bites Chiellini. Suarez probably never liked Chelsea players, and that perhaps prompted him to bite Ivanovic. But we are not sure what he was thinking when he bit Italy's Chiellini. Well, the man has apologized and the world has probably moved on. Chiellini was not just a victim of disrespect when Suarez bit him, he was also a victim of disrespect from another South American. Diego Simeone celebrating by holding his crotch. Atletico Madrid once went 2 goals up against Juventus in the Champions League, and it seemed Juve wasn't going to recover. It was okay for Simeone to celebrate because of this feat. However, he went overboard when he celebrated in the face of Juve fans and players by holding his crotch. What goes around comes around. Simeone perhaps felt Juve couldn't recover from 2 goals down in the Champions League against his team, so he threw caution into the wind. Well, in the second leg of this encounter, CR7 brought Juve back into the game and even scored a 3rd goal to help them move to the next stage, and he simply paid Atletico Madrid in their own coin. Although this looked like payback time, he actually was on the wrong side of the rules of football when he celebrated by holding his crotch. CR7 was free to actually celebrate his goal. The next player wasn't, but he celebrated anyway, and in the most absurd way too. Adebayor ran the length of the pitch. After leaving Arsenal for Manchester City under not very good circumstances, Adebayor finally met his former club in the EPL and scored a goal. Most people expected him to take things calmly, but the former Togolese captain decided to run the entire length of the pitch because he needed to celebrate in front of Arsenal fans. Well, he paid a fine for this. Adebayor clearly wasn't acting, but we can't say the same about Rivaldo. the Brazilian took disrespect to a whole new level. Rivaldo's perfect acting. In the 2002 World Cup, Rivaldo succeeded in getting a Turkish player sent off in a match between Brazil and Turkey. All he needed to do was act like the ball hit his face. Paulo Di Canio pushed the referee. If football had a Hall of Shame, Paulo Di Canio would be a respected member in it. He earned the right to be a senior member in the football's Hall of Shame when he pushed referee Paul Alcock. El Hadji Diouf spitting at opponents. El Hadji Diouf of Senegal was one of the best African players in his time. He had quite a career. However, he is not remembered for his great career. On the contrary, everyone remembers him for spitting at opponents, and he had quite a reputation for this. Europe versus Africa. In world football, Europe has never gone head-to-head with Africa. However, in the 1982 World Cup, after Algeria defeated Germany and Germany met Austria in their last match, it became clear that it was a case of Europe against Africa. If Germany had defeated Austria by 1 or 2 goals, the Germans and Austrians would qualify, and anything more would see Germany and Algeria qualify. Well, the Germans won by a goal to nothing. The scoreline in itself was not the problem. However, the fact that the match seemed staged was. Sol Campbell joining Arsenal. Sol Campbell went from being a Tottenham hero to a villain in 1 week. At his peak, there were speculations he was leaving the club. However, he openly denied it, only to join Arsenal the same week. That was disrespectful, but he probably learnt a thing or two from Luis Figo. Luis Figo joined Madrid from Barcelona. Sol showed some disrespect when he moved from one London club to the other. Well, Figo did the same. He was already a Barcelona legend when he decided to sign for Madrid. Well, Barcelona fans did not take it lightly. A fan throws a pig's head at Luis Figo. Figo got into trouble with Barcelona fans after joining Madrid. This did not seem strange. However, one fan was a little too passionate and decided to show massive disrespect when he threw a pig's head at Figo. The Kieran Dyer and Lee Boyer brawl. Football matches sometimes get heated, and it is normal to see players get into heated confrontations. However, it seemed impossible for players from one team to fight until Lee Boyer and Kieran Dyer, both of Newcastle, got into a confrontation on the pitch. They disrespected themselves, each other, their teammates, the fans, and club. Unfortunately, they both got red cards. Florin went shopping. There is no problem with a player shopping, but when a player does it at the expense of a game, then that's the height of disrespect for a club, and Florin did exactly this. Disrespectful Chelsea fans. If there is a word worse than disrespectful, then that word would be ideal in this situation. Chelsea fans once booed during a 1-minute silence for those that suffered from the Hillsborough disaster. This happened in a semi-final FA Cup match between Chelsea and Tottenham. It doesn't get worse than this. Marvin Hitz damages the pitch. Hitz damaged the pitch during a match between Augsburg and Cologne. It was a penalty moment, and in a bid to save the penalty, he messed up the penalty spot. He was able to save the penalty. However, his action was clearly disrespectful and he did not go unpunished. Was the penalty retaken? No, he was fined. Ramos gets Cuadrado sent off. Juve's Cuadrado once got sent off in a match between Juventus and Real Madrid. He got a red card for an alleged foul on Madrid's Sergio Ramos. The funny thing is, he was innocent. However, there was no VAR to prove his innocence. Sergio Busquets dive versus Thiago Motta. Speaking of players from Italian clubs getting sent off when playing against Spanish teams, Inter Milan's Thiago Motta once got sent off for a foul on Barcelona's Busquets. But there was no foul. Busquets dived. Ronaldo slaps Dara O'Shea. We saved this for the last, as this is as disrespectful as a player can get. The football world will never understand why CR7 slapped another player. He probably has his explanations, but they will not be good enough. There is simply no explanation for hitting another player, and regardless of how prominent CR7 is and how unknown Dara is, CR7 was clearly very disrespectful. CR7 did not get a red card for this offense, but what do you think? Was he supposed to get a red card? Please tell us in the comment section below. Also, subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this. That's not all. Kindly like and share this video if you are yet to do so. See you in the next video.